So after 2 of 7 rounds, 6 of 21 races raced, we ask the question: who are the contenders for the 2022 Drivers' title? And from which teams? In the history of the world's most competitive junior motor racing series, only 3 teams have taken their driver to the title. The Prema Power team, Jensen Motorsport, Van Amersfoort Racing. There have been 4 different winners in the first 6 races of 2022, again from just 2 teams. US Racing got off to a flying start at Imola with race wins for Alex Dunn and Kasper Stuka, whilst Rafa Kamara won the season opener and also race 3 this past weekend at Misano. But the talking point of the weekend was the outstanding, in fact dominant performance from his Prema Power teammate Andrea Kimi Antonelli. Pole position for all 3 races, victory in the first 2 and a close P2 to Kamara in the final race of the weekend. 36 cars took to the Misano circuit for qualifying on a steamy Saturday morning. Antonelli taking pole position in Q1 and Q2 with a phenomenal 134.7. The Prema Power team 1, 2, 3 on the grid for race 1, an incredible 1 through 5 for race 2, and the first 2 rows of the grid for race 3. Alex Dunn, the young Irishman who came into the weekend as the only driver to lead both the Italian and also the British F4 championships at the same time, was up against it from the outset. The championship leader having his second time deleted in Q2, meaning a back of the grid start for the second race. The red and white cars were in a class of their own, Kamara initially leading off the start before a daring move from Antonelli at turn 13. To be fair, there was respect between the 2 teammates who led home a Prema 1-2, but Dunn with P3 would still hold the championship lead. So 4 different winners from the first 4 races as Antonelli got his championship attack back on track. Remember the young Mercedes AMG Junior who raced in the last 2 rounds of the 2021 championship as a precursor to a full challenge on this year's series. He only scored a solitary point at Imola, 10th in race 3. A crushing Prema 1, 2, 3, 4 in race 2, which unusually was perhaps the calmest race in the series history. Antonelli from Charlie Wirtz, who made a superb getaway to lead off the start, from Ferrari Junior James Wharton and Kamara in 4th. Marcus Amann for US Racing, P5. The importance of winning the Italian F4 Championship cannot be understated. 4 of the 20 drivers on the grid in the FIA Formula 1 World Championship this year came from this series, whilst the 2017, 18 and 19 champions Enzo Fittipaldi, Marcus Armstrong and Dennis Hauger are knocking on the door, currently racing in Formula 2. By the end of race 3, Rafa Kamara, a Ferrari Junior, would put his name forward certainly as a contender, as he regained the lead of the championship in race 3. Antonelli had led the majority of which, but the safety car entered the track in the dying stages. His lead evaporated, and Kamara jumped him off the start with a daring move down into the Rio curves. He was leading when a red flag came out after a crash on the last lap involving Blockina, Flack, Isha and Werg. It saw the track blocked. All 4 were fine, a testament to the all-new Tartus T421 F4 car. So Kamara now leads the championship and is aiming to take the title back to Brazil and make up for the championship narrowly lost by his countryman Jean-Luc Petikov in 2019. Antonelli, after a near-perfect performance, has roared back into contention and is in 3rd. But Alex Dunn is still 2nd in the series. The highly rated young Irish driver, who is not yet affiliated with any of the F1 teams, but has the full backing of the US Racing team, who themselves are trying to become only the 4th team to win the driver's title. So, who else? Well, any number of drivers. Stuka and Marcus Amann, who was third in race 3, and are 4th and 6th in the series, split only by the Australian Ferrari junior James Wharton, meaning the Prema and US teams 1 through 6th in the championship. Then comes Martinia Stensone, driving for Motorsport Racing, the team who dominated with Bierman just last year. Surely they will fight back also. It is still anyone's for the taking, but at this point we are starting to get a clearer picture of who will be a contender for this year's title. The road to Formula One passes right through here. We'll find out who else can throw their hat into the ring as a contender when the Italian F4 Championship races at the home of the Belgian Grand Prix for the very first time, Spa-Francorchamps, on the 18th and 19th of June. We'll see you then.